So I want to propose to start our introduction part and then start our webinar. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Anastasia and I'm head of employer brand agency UGEN, who is the host of today's webinar. And I'm glad to see you. Today we see your registration and now we see you on our webinar. And our employer brand voice webinar today, the main topic is building internal communication that inspire advocacy. Today you will hear real cases about how to communicate with employees, how to build the trust with employees, and also how to build advocacy program. And our speakers is employer brand specialists, so they are ready to answer today on your question. And before we start, I also want to introduce you some rules of our webinar and also our agenda. So first of all, now is a part of introduction, and then we will have 3 cases from our speaker. Every case will be 20 minutes. And after our presentation of the speakers, you will be possible to ask your questions and speaker will answer on your questions. So small panel discussion for question and answer. But please, if you will have any question during the webinar, use the chat, write your question, and at the end of our presentation of the speakers, I will come back to your question and present your question to our speakers. So please be free to use our chat for ask your questions. And before we start, I have to use some interactive pool just to know how are you. So first my question about your mood. How are you today? How are you ready for our webinar? And I want to ask to turn on our first question in the pool. So what's your mood now? Active, insightful, calm, energetic, tired maybe. And the second question what I want to ask you, as we will talk today a lot about ambassador programs. Second, my question, do you have experience to launch an ambassador program? Yes, you have done it before. I have some experience and I'm learning about it. No, I need more information. So let's take 1 minute that you can answer our question or 2 questions, start questions today. So I see that now our pool show that mostly our participants is calm, some energetic, insightful and active, but still some small percent is tired. I understand HR is very busy people and you have a lot of projects, but I hope our webinar will give you new energy and new inspiration. And let's look on the second question. In second question, do you have the experience to launch an ambassador program? We see that mostly our participants learning about it, and it's really great because today you will get a lot of feedback about how to build communication with employees and how to build an ambassador program. But we also have experienced listener today, so maybe also in the comments you can also share your experience or maybe ask and add to your experience some new ideas. I also want to say hello to participants who join us later. So we are ready to start our webinar. It's very nice to interact and see your mood and see that you're ready to learn about Ambassador Program. And let's start with our first topic. And first topic will present by myself. So I'm again introduced to people who joined later. My name. Oh, sorry, I read the message that someone asked about recording. Yes, recording is going on. So if someone cannot stay till the end, of course, we will send a presentation of our speakers and we will send recording, and you can be possible also to share this recording with your colleagues, maybe if you're from your HR department. And it's nice to see that we have participants from Poland, from Romania. Nice to meet you and see you today. So let's start our webinar, and first our topic will be a presentation about ambassador program for company Mondelez, and this case will be present me. My name is once more Anastasia, and I'm a head of employer brand agency UGEN, and I will share today with you the case how we with agency help to company Mondelez how to build and to start ambassador program. It's a fresh case. We just started with this ambassador program 2 months ago, so I am ready to share with you our insights and steps how we built this ambassador program. I share with you my screen and start my presentation. Okay, I hope you can see my presentation. Please mention in the chat that you can see presentation. Thank you so much. Okay, so my presentation is about ambassador program, what we built together with the company Mondelez, and I will share you how we like agency help to Mondelez building ambassador program. First of all, let's introduce us, our team. It's a team who today prepared to you webinar, and also a team who helped Mondelez to build ambassador program. So UGEN is leading European employer brand agency. We have a headquarters in Netherlands, and we are helping to employers overcome HR challenges and assemble professional teams and elevate their employer brand. We have 8 years of experience. We have a lot of projects in employer branding, and we are ready to share with you today one of the projects. And as our solutions, what we prepare to our customers, we helping to companies to development of employer value proposition and employer brand growth plan. We help with employer brand awareness. We also help to build internship and educational career projects for young generation. And we also deal with internal brand development projects. And I will be glad also to talk with some of you after if we can help you to grow with your employer brand and to help to develop your projects within employer branding. So let's start to talking about building employer branding and building advocacy program. On the slide, you can see some different challenging with what you may be sometimes familiar to. So sometimes we struggle to encourage employees to share company updates, achievements, ask their work experience on LinkedIn. Also, sometimes it's hard to motivate employees to refer candidates us and participate in the referral program. And we ask employees to share personal stories and journey, but sometimes they don't want or they don't want to share it in public. We also encourage employees to write a blog, to create a post, to create the videos. And sometimes you can hear that, oh, I don't want to participate and feel not comfortable to make a video. And also sometimes we encourage employees to nominate themselves or colleagues as a potential ambassadors, but we get not a lot of response. So if you're familiar with any of these challenges today with my presentation, you can get some tips and feedback how you can cover your challenges. So when the company Mondelez come to us with a problem that they want to promote more employer brands in their market, and we talk now about Mondelez in Ukraine, and they come to us and say that we want that our employees more talk about our employer branding outside. We want that they share about working in Mondelez outside and more in social media. But when we ask our employees, they don't know how to do it. They struggle to make some posts on social media, and they don't know how it's to be ambassador. So we start with them to talk how to build the Mondelez Star Ambassador program. And I want to share with you our steps, what we made together and how we help Mondelez to build their ambassador program. So first of all, I want to guide you through our 8 steps, what we made together with the Mondelez to create this ambassador program. And you can also, if you never start ambassador program for your company, you can take it like a template to start your own ambassador program. So first of all, our stage was to identify goals for ambassador program. And it's very important stage because to know if our ambassador program is successful, first of all, we need to identify the goal, why we want to launch ambassador program. In the case of Mondelez, they want to build more brand awareness for the Mondelez and also increase engagement employees for building employer branding. The second stage was a promotion. It's a launch of promotional campaign internally. So through the email was pushing promotional campaign and ask who from employees want to participate. What's a challenge was here that Mondelez have office employees and also employees who on working in a production in a fabric. So 2 fabrics what involved also in promotional campaign. The third stage was selecting the best candidates. It was on the hand of Mondelez HR team. They select the best candidates based on the communicational skills, based on their previous engagement in the company, if they are influencer in their team, and also based on the motivation, why they want to join ambassador program. This first stage was to define KPI performance indicators for ambassadors. So, for example, it was the number of referrals, it's number of the posts what they made in social media, or external event participation for ambassador. It's help for us, first of all, to measure if our ambassador program is successful, but also it's for ambassador a little bit like competition to get who is the best ambassador in the company to get some prizes. 5 steps was its onboarding, and it's very important steps not to forget. Sometimes company give already some task to ambassadors and they start with the task, but very important to start with onboarding. So we are welcome new ambassadors and explain their roles and expectation and organize onboarding event for all ambassadors to know each other because they are from different offices, to build the team, but also to explain what we expect from them and how it's to be ambassador. The stage 6 was to create a communicational channel to ensure that ambassadors have direct way to connect with the company, with HR, and also with us like agency who communicate with them, and also to build the communication between the team. And in a communicational channel, we regularly share updates, challenges, opportunities, and also educational materials. It's minimum 1 post in a week we made, and in the making post, we involved like agency to help to communicate and to prepare educational materials online. For communication, we choose the Telegram channel where we communicate in the weekly base with our ambassadors. At stage 7, it's education, and it's a huge part. I will talk about this more in my next slides. But we provide training about what is employer branding, about social media, and about storytelling. We offer workshop and webinars every month, but also send small video messages in our communicational channel to get educational process continuously every week. And also we prepare and send some templates what ambassador can use when they prepare the post for social media. And of course, the stage 8 is continuously stage. It's regular meetings with all ambassador. we help to Mondelez to organize on a monthly based meeting all ambassadors together, where we first of all made some small team building, so some activation, online quizzes, also we talk about the results of the month, we talk about the challenges, and we talk about our KPI. And in this way, we built our community of ambassadors in Mondelez. Let's talk more about our educational program. First of all, educational program is based online, so we meet in teams and provide educational program online. All educational program provided by us, like agency to Mondelez, and our goal is a structured educational program to give to ambassadors the skills what they need to make our task like ambassadors. So first topic in our educational program is social media basic. So we explain then in what tone of voice they need to prepare communication in social media. Also, we introduce them different tools for comfortable work in the social media, and like analytics platform, like scheduling tools for the post. The second pool of our education is about content creation. So we talk about copywriting and about storytelling. We talk about creating trends, reels, and engaging visuals. So what content will work for our target audience, for the company Mondelez. The third part is a communication training, we talk about how to build communication with the colleagues, because ambassadors not only communicate externally but also internally. Also, how to answer questions efficiently when some employees come and ask the questions, and how to motivate colleagues to get involved in some internal projects. And the fourth part of educational program is ambassador role training. We start with this training to explain them what is the role of the ambassador, what we expect from them, how to create ideas, how to communicate between the teams. We start with some also inspiration box, how we called it, for ambassador, and we send to every ambassador inspiration box to welcome them in a team. We provide also them with a background for LinkedIn and with different templates what they can use during the ambassador program. Then next, what I want to explain to you is about building ambassador team and communication, because it's very important to build the team with ambassadors from a different department. And in the case of Mondelez, also they were from a different offices. So first of all, you need to choose your communication tools. So some dedicated chat for ambassadors. It can be in a Teams, it can be WhatsApp, it can be Telegram, any chat what used more in your country or used more with your employees. You also can make some pool and ask ambassadors what tool can be better for them for communication. Then it's regular support, because when you just create communication tool, create the chart, they can be struggle to talk or to ask a question. It's why we published weekly educational content. We ask some question, we interact with them, and we also create the monthly online meetings to share updates. And of course, it's about skills development. So we have ongoing training to support ambassadors, also to build communication inside a team, that they become a team, that they share the knowledge, that they share their experience in a team of ambassadors. And some lesson learned, so tips for success for your ambassador program, and helpful tips what can help you to build your ambassador program. So first of all, it starts small. Begin with a pilot group, enthusiastic employees. You don't need to make the huge group of ambassadors start with a small, and then engage more and more people for ambassador group, that another employees can see how it's work, how it's interesting, how learning program interesting, and how what results can bring ambassador to the company. Also invest in the training, provide the training for your ambassador. And as if you don't have some employees who can provide the training about social media, about conversation, copywriting, engage some external agency, like in a case of Mondelez, engage some external trainer to create the program, but you need to give some training and to prepare your ambassadors to present your employer branding of your company. Also, faster community, create dedicated space when ambassador can ask the question, collaborate and connect. Provide ongoing support, so regular contact, regular meetings, regular calls, or also it can be somebody for group of ambassadors who can answer on any question when they have some questions, and of course some dedicated HR who's responsible for ambassador programs and can answer on any question. And the last but not the least, it's to measure impact. So we need to track engagement metrics. We need to track the KPI of success of the program to know what we can do better, and also to explain to the business how our ambassador program help to our goals of the company. So thank you for listening of my case. It was nice to share with you the case how we like agency help to Mondelez to build ambassador program. And you can see in the slides my contacts, and every time open to have any consultation and help you to build your ambassador program, or to consultate you with any question regarding employer branding. Any consultation is free. You can register on our website, UGEN agency. And also I want to introduce you, someone know already from our participants, some know, but we have our group in a LinkedIn, Employer Brand and HR Voices, where we publish every week some topics and share our experience. And also we organize webinars such as today. So I encourage you to scan our QR code and to connect with our Employer Brand and HR Voices. And I will be glad to share some more cases in our group with you. And I will be glad to answer on your questions in a period of question and answer at that. I will stop share my presentation, and now I want to move to our second speaker and our second case. And Flavia, can we see you and hear you?
Hello, definitely. So here I
We
am.
can see you and
Hello, everyone.
And hear you. So I want to introduce to you Flavia. Flavia is country manager who's taking care about employer branding in Romania for the company Bosch. And Flavia today with us will talk about activation, also ambassador program in a Bosch. And she will share their experience on a building advocacy program. So Flavia, now it's time for sharing presentation and for your 20 minutes case.
Okay, then let me just figure it out. So yeah, having 3 screens is not necessarily helping every time. So yeah, I got it this time. So it's screen 2. Perfect. You can see it, right?
Yeah, you can see your presentation. Yeah, please.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So hello, everyone, and welcome to the conversation. Anastasia, thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm excited to be here today. So the topic really sparked my interest, and it's very dear to me. So I will talk today about the employee advocacy initiatives that we run in Bosch Romania. And what I will focus more is actually the social media ambassador program, because we have developed a dedicated one in the engineering center, and this is mainly the software target group. So with this being said, who am I? Like Anastasia mentioned, I am coming from Romania. My name is Flavia, obviously, and I'm from Cluj-Napoca, somewhere in the middle of Romania. I'm working for over 15 years in communication, and in the last 6 years, I somehow shifted my focus towards employer branding after trying the communication facets, let's call it like that. And I'm the happy mother of David and also the wife of John. And yeah, this is me, passionate about communication and currently working for Bosch. And just wanted to bring everyone on the same page now that we can say that we know each other. And I want to give you a few details about Bosch because it's a leading global supplier of technology and services. And just a glimpse, it roughly employs over 429 associates worldwide. So it's a big company and it's also being represented in Romania, and all the four mobility sectors, business sectors are represented. And to narrow it down, I just want to point out that the company exists for over 30 years in Romania, and we have here plants, we have sales offices, we have a research and development center, business and technology solution center. So it's a very, very diverse portfolio that we are managing currently from an employer branding perspective. And that's why I pointed out in the beginning that my focus today is to talk about the software target group. So yeah, today Bosch in Romania is ranked as the fifth most desired employer, and we have a strong partnership here in the country with the universities, with the local communities, and we are a very strong educational partner and technology partner. So yeah, what about employee advocacy? Considering that I'm responsible with the employer branding strategy overall for Romania, and we have a very strong EVP in Bosch, we have built the
Flavia,
program
sorry,
on...
we cannot see the
Yes,
presentation. It's go out from our screen. Can you try to share again?
definitely. Yeah, give me a second. It's coming now?
Yes, it's coming.
Thank you. So I was saying that we are using our employer value proposition as the basis for building the program. And I just wanted to share with you what working like a Bosch means, because we have built our employer promise on 3 different pillars. And
Flavia,
the
sorry
first
for
one is...
interruption, but it's still black
Again?
screen. It's right double click to enter full screen mode.
Okay.
Yes, we see now. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Just let me know if it's disappearing again. Yeah, what I was saying. I was telling you about the EVP. So definitely a good program needs to have a foundation, a very strong foundation. And whenever you want your message to be authentically communicated, you are returning to your roots. So we have matched the key messages and the direction that we are promoting with our employer branding strategy with everything that goes out from the voices of our ambassadors. And I do believe that we all agree that a program is important, and that there are some very strong reasons why a company is doing this. And Anastasia already touched some of the points, and I just want to go through this one because I pointed out the 4 that I consider to be the most important with this project. That the companies are deploying, we build the trust, we build the credibility, because definitely the employees are being perceived as more authentic than the corporate messages, the very standard and the ones that people already consider very let's call them boring in a way, because they are very curated and not necessarily with this energy and with everything that a person would transmit. Also, the engagement. Employees are generating up to 8 times more engagement than the corporate channels. The brand is stronger. So as Anastasia also pointed out, I feel that our presentations have some common points, which is good because it means that the programs are strong. We are improving the employee engagement. We are working on a better performance of the associates, and definitely what everyone wants, it's a lower turnover. So there are a lot of points that you can build on when you're working on creating the strategy for an employee advocacy project. And as I was pointing out, this is a project that it's a very complex one, but I'm going to narrow it down today at the social media part. And it's the first step that we took in implementing the employee advocacy in our local organization. And I started with this big overview of Romania. So in Romania, we have over 10,000 employees, and the engineering center employs 1,700. So this is the target group that I'm referring to. And we already agreed that people tend to follow the recommendations from individuals they trust. So now we see how influential the employees are, and they become opinion leaders. And this is very important for a company to foster, so to empower the employees and to foster this motivation that the employees are having in order to drive the business success. So this was the reason why we selected social media as the first area that we want to focus. And I'm gonna move a bit further and go a bit deeper into the program. So we call this social media ambassador program, and all of the reasons are already clear. And as I already said, it's a project that's very dear to me because I advocated a lot for it, and it started in 2020, so a lot of time ago. It was during the pandemic. And we have started it by identifying the layers that already existed and that already communicated in the organization. And those are the layers that I'm talking about. We looked at the leaders, we looked at the colleagues from human resources departments, we looked at the one that are in a very technical field, also to the non-technical one, because being a large organization, you have it all. So this portfolio is a very mixed one. We looked at the students because they have their target group, and also we looked at the colleagues that are very, very active as events ambassador. So by merging all those layers, we managed to put together a program in waves, definitely, because we have seen the complexity. And we started by gathering the existing colleagues, the very active one in the beginning, and train them in becoming brand ambassadors. And after consolidating those layers, which definitely were the first two ones, so the leaders and the human resources were the most active because it came natural for their roles, we moved forward. And we have created a visual identity because people want to see something nice in order to be attracted to do something, to have this call to action. So we made sure that people are informed about the program. We took the opportunity to talk about it internally, definitely, because it's an internal program that we run. We talked in the town halls. We promoted the program on the internal screens. We printed the posters in the office. We sent regular emails for people to join the program. And also we managed to be invited at the department meetings to present this opportunity. The colleagues were excited and also brought others along. So we created some excitement in the beginning, and actually things started running. But now, what happens if someone wants to be part of the program after learning about it on the screens and in all the places that I previously mentioned? And here are the steps. We put together 5 steps, and I think that it's very important and relevant to start by saying that we have a community manager, and this community manager is the person responsible with curating the community. And I'm a strong advocate for the existence of this community manager, because you need someone to actually invest time and dedicate its energy in making it happen. So definitely you need to contact the community manager as a first step and discuss about you joining the program. This community manager is adding you to a Teams channel. So you go there, and it's my next slide, and you find all the information that you need. The community manager is presenting you the resources. You have one-to-one meeting with this community manager, or one-to-many if there are more colleagues joining the program in the same time frame. And we have an onboarding kit that everyone is receiving. And hopefully we have these nice brand ambassadors that are very self-sufficient, let's call them like that, and begin to post by themselves. And going step by step, I'm showing you here the step 2 and 3. So the Teams channel is the place to be. In Bosch, we are using Teams because this is the official communication channel, and it was very at hand to do the communication. We have tried it by email, but considering the community grew over the years, it was more and more difficult. So we migrated towards Teams. So this is the place to be for all the information about the relevant things like the rules on how to engage with the program or the details about the ambassadors that are already there. So we prepare the content as a communication team. This is something very important because internally we have a communication team here, and we place on Teams everything that the colleagues need. So the posts are ready made, and our colleagues just copy paste the text on their social media channels. And something that's really relevant, we have tried over the years several channels. We tried Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And last year we have decided that we will focus our efforts on LinkedIn only as the go-to platform for the career objectives. So yeah, we have some ambassadors that write their own content, but that's our target, and not everyone is there yet. But it's a process, and we are treating this program in waves, as I previously mentioned. So we keep the community engaged. We put the ambassadors in the spotlight because we created a series of interviews. So those are the initiatives, the actions that we do in order to keep everyone engaged, because that's something that we learned during the years, that things don't just happen and you need to engage with the people. And this is the step 4 with the goodies. So yeah, we all know that nothing works without goodies. So our ambassadors are receiving those things that are so representatives, being a lanyard or a backpack or a cap, so stuff that is making them stand out. And this is their ambassador kit. And yeah, what do we do to keep them engaged and to train them? We have organized events, online, on-site events. We invite some influencers or trainers, external ones, in order to bring the new information in front of our colleagues. And we have observed that this is working better than having everything organized internally with our community manager. So we have tried this thing, but yeah, there are better responses when we have external speakers. So our colleagues are very excited that we have special guests and that everything is very organized, and they feel like it's an exclusive community. So yeah, what happens next? Because we have seen that we prepare people, we onboard them, we train them, but when they are up and running, the posts start coming. So we have some categories of content that the colleagues are interested in, because we have seen that not everyone is posting about everything and anything. So after having this experience with the program, we have developed some categories, and we have 3 big categories, and those categories are connected with the EVP that I mentioned in the beginning. So here I'm showing you the ambassadors that are posting about technology and about leadership. The next category, it's about community and work-life balance, because we definitely want to show that Bosch is more than a nice place to work. It's a place that's taking care of you, and we have a lot of initiatives, internal initiatives, external initiatives. We have communities that colleagues can join, and basically we're offering a platform for all these initiatives to be displayed in front of the world. And the last category of content, the work atmosphere. You can see here the HR team part of it, and you can see also the opening of the building, one of the buildings that we have here in Cluj. So yeah, a lot of topics, a lot of colleagues engaged. As I already mentioned, we have leaders, we had human resources colleagues, technical, non-technical, working students. So we're really focused on covering all the layers, all the target groups. And definitely all the hard work needs to be rewarded, right? So we have some awards, quarterly awards, I would call them, or flash awards. We started with quarterly awards, and I'm not going to go through everything that I have on this slide because there is a lot of text, and I can answer in the Q&A part. But nevertheless, what's important to let you know, guys, is the fact that quarterly we organized a call for ambassadors or call for champions, and we have different criteria. So we started mixing those criteria. There was a period when we started by rewarding the ambassadors with the best performing post, and this was the number of likes and engagement that we were seeing on the post. But things became very, very linear, and we spiced things up, let's call it like that, and we rewarded the ambassadors in a quarter that had the highest number of posts. So yeah, we are trying to alternate things in order to make them a bit more dynamic. So as I said, my objective is not necessarily to go through the rules, but if you're interested, I can return to those rules during the Q&A. And here's some happy faces. So yeah, we are rewarding the activities like a Bosch, because we have this hashtag internally and externally as well. And everyone wants to feel like a Bosch and to have something. So we are closing the circle and offering either home appliances or something nice to wear. And we see that the people are very excited and they feel that they're being part of the community, and moreover, they feel that they belong in the company. And here I have a glimpse on some of the winning posts, and you can see that some of them are having lower engagement, but as I already pointed out, the criteria is alternating and we make things dynamic. So in a quarter, we reward the number of posts, while in another quarter, we reward the number of likes. So that's why it's not necessarily unitary, but you see that some are over 100 and some are below. And yeah, some numbers. As I started by saying that it was a hard beginning, we launched this program in the pandemic year, and currently we have over 150 ambassadors, and those ambassadors are in categories, because some are very, very active and very driven, and others need to be more encouraged or taken care of. And some of them request support in doing their post, and some of them are very independent. So it really varies. I cannot say that this program is a black and white one. It evolves naturally, and you can take out of it as much as you put in. And that's why I'm going to go to the next slide, and I'm going to tell you my ideas on how to create a social media ambassador program from scratch, because there are some recommendations, and the first one would be to develop a strategy. And that's why I tackled those layers in the beginning, because you need some objectives, you need an action plan, a visual identity. It's very, very helpful so people connect with it. Also allocate a budget, because this project, in order to work, needs budget associated with it, because you will need some giveaways in order to reward people and also to onboard them, not necessarily only to reward. Also appoint a community manager. This is very helpful. I'm not going to stress it again because I already touched this point in my speech. Also define the communication tool that's working for you. I pointed out that we use Teams, and currently it's working, but we are also considering approaching an app that is going to make our life way easier, and the program can evolve in this way. Also, you have to develop a strategy to communicate internally the program, and you need to engage regularly with your ambassadors. That's why the community manager is utmost important. And I remember that Katarina also had this one, sorry, Anastasia, the analyze. So you need to analyze and you need to adjust. And this is what we have done in the last 5 years, almost 5 years. We have adjusted it, and we have switched from emails to Teams, and now we analyze something else. And some do's and don'ts, what we have learned. balance the rewarding system to maintain the motivation. I already explained how we are treating our gamification system. Also, what we have developed are some flash contests. So whenever there is something important happening in the world, we are also walking the trend. And for example, at the football World Cup, we also did a flash contest with encouraging colleagues to post about sports. Invest your effort wisely. Test the motivation and choose the topics. It's very important to find the right ambassador on the right topic, and invest the time and the effort in this community itself. And some don'ts, I have only a big one. Don't treat it as a program, recognize it as a community, and invest in it if you want to make it happen. And I'm at the end of my presentation. I hope that I was able to bring some value and on this topic, because it's trending, and more and more companies are choosing this in their strategy. So if you guys feel the need to discuss more or ask me something in particular, here are my contacts, and I'm open for questions if there are some questions I don't know.
Thank you, Flavia. Thank you for your presentation. We will have already some questions in the chat, but we will come back to the questions after our third speaker. Thank you for sharing with us. And I want to agree with you about building community, not thinking about the program, but thinking how to build the team and how to build community. But it's so impressive, the numbers, what you have of participants of ambassador program. So thank you for your team that they develop so great program with great results, and thank you that you are ready to share with us and answer the question. I will move to our third speaker and to our third case, and I want to introduce you Katarzyna. And Katarzyna is a senior employer brand specialist in the company SmartRecruiters, and she also by education anthropologist, so it's an interesting combination. And she today will talk about building trust, connections, and cultural awareness. So let's start with our third presentation. Katarzyna, now it's floors for you.
Hello, so technical stuff. Do you see my screen and can you hear me?
Yes, we can see your presentation and hear you good.
Thank you. So today during the meeting and also generally in our field, we talk a lot about authenticity. So it's no surprise that my name of my presentation is Unlocking Authenticity. And as Anastasia said, my name is Katarzyna and I love castles. And today I'd like to share my personal perspective on what really means to build an authentic employer brand, not just as a strategy, but as a connection between employer brand specialists and employees. So a little about me. I started my journey in cultural anthropology, as also Anastasia mentioned, and that shaped how I approach AB today. I believe employer branding isn't just about content, it's about relationships, trust, making employees part of the story, actually making them active players. It's about human connection. So before becoming an EB specialist, I was working 10 plus years in marketing and social media, and currently I am specifically in this industry. So in this session, I'll share insights from my experiences across different industries, teams, and cultural settings, not just from one company, because no single approach works for everyone, and we can take lessons from different environments and adapt them to our own. We all know that employer branding is a very huge field, and today I'm focusing just on one piece, the connection between employer branding and employees, their stories, their engagement, and the trust we build along the way. So when we talk about starting from the ground up, which is the part of the title of my presentation, we usually think about the first day in a new job. But in reality, we are starting all the time. Every new project, every campaign, every first meeting with a new team, it's a fresh start. Even when, for experienced professionals, every new encounter is the first time that with that particular person, team, or challenge. And that's the beauty of employer branding for me. We don't build it once and leave it. We build, adjust, rebuild again and again. So every start is a chance to refine, adjust how we approach storytelling, trust, and engagement. So when I say employer branding is built from the ground up, it's not just about starting a role. It's about continuous process of learning, adapting, and growing. And let's be honest, employer branding doesn't exist in a vacuum. We're not just collecting stories for the sake of storytelling. We work for a company and the company has business goals, hiring needs, and sometimes specific expectations about the type of content we create. And that's okay. Our role isn't to push one extreme or the other. It's about balance. Yes, we advocate for employees to have a voice, but we also need to align with the company vision, strategy, and sometimes the limitation of what's possible. Not every company will allow full flexibility. Sometimes leaderships want specific themes covered, sometimes KPIs will shape what we focus on. And that's the reality. The key is figuring out how to navigate the space, how to bring as much authenticity as possible within those business expectations. Not every experience I share will match your exact situations, but as we go through this next slide, I hope you'll find some ideas that work within your environment. So let's start with this classical anthropology cartoon. For me, it's funny, but it also tells a truth about expectations versus reality. Classical anthropologists years back were expecting untouched cultures when they were traveling far away for their fieldwork to research on those tribes. But the communities already had contact with those so-called civilization, and they might have adapted to what was expected from them by anthropologists. So they actually weren't authentic. And now think about how this relates to employer branding. If we impose a strict, rigid structure, we don't get real authenticity. We get what employees think we want to hear, and that's not authentic. We hear all the time that video is the best format for employer branding. It sells well, it gets engagement, but is that really true for everyone? Does it fit all employees? Does it fit all target groups? Instead of relying on just one format, why not to create a menu of options? That way you can balance what works for the company, your resources, and most importantly, the comfort of employees. And with AI tools, it's now easier than ever to turn text into video or transform audio into podcast-style content. Personally, I love a hybrid format, especially in a remote or async work. Employees can answer in writing first, and then we use parts of their answers and turn it into short video clips. This works perfect for social media, teasers, or as a engaging part within a longer article on a blog site. And one thing to keep in mind, not recorded materials will be good. Some employees might read of a script, and that's cool for short clips, but for a longer form, it might not be the best. And what I always want to remember, format is just a tool. And the story comes from how we shape the space for employees to share. So before anything else, I always start with casual intro call. Not an interview, not a content request, just a conversation. Of course, if a call isn't possible, we write, in my case on Slack. The goal is to set the tone that this is a collaboration, not interrogation. I explain the process, walk them through the steps, and most importantly, reassure them that they are in the control of their own story. I never treat employees as content sources. I believe that if we do that, we'll get stiff scripted answers. Instead, I make it clear that they are co-creators of their own story. I might tell them, this is not me writing about you, this is us telling your story together. This shift in mindset make all the difference. And I'm not a PR specialist, I'm an employer brand specialist. I don't polish the interviews, I allow them speak their voices. Another first thing that I tell them, please check the set of questions or topics I prepared. Delete what you don't like, don't feel comfortable to answer. Add what you think is valuable regarding your role, your situation. Instead of forcing my own idea, I let them lead. I also might ask what format works the best for you, when you are available. I want to make this work around my schedule, not theirs. It's on us to plan, schedule collaborations so that we deliver enough interviews, enough content on time. Yes, sometimes it happens that I, for example, get 3 or 4 interviews at the same time or have none. So if I had too much, I inform colleagues that their interview will be featured later, or I just compile what we had before and turn it into different type of content. And it's important to remember this is their story, so they should have a final say. I let them review and approve everything. I accept their changes, and if something doesn't feel right for them, we adjust. I remind them nothing goes live without your approval. I believe this builds trust. And if possible, I give choices, even small ones, choosing the image, choosing the quotation that we will highlight. It also involves dividing content between only internal communication and external communication. It's not about control, it's about involvement. The more employees feel involved, the more authentic the outcome. If they don't want to have their photo included, we just don't. And I always show them where and how their story will be used. I clarify who will see it, whether it's internal, external, or both. I also ensure their leader will check this interview before publishing. They might suggest asking about something else, or what's even more important, they bring this trust that we won't share anything with public that we shouldn't. If employees feel somehow uneasy about something, we adjust. There are no surprises. I think that when people trust the process that they're in, they feel safe enough to be themselves. And let's be honest, not everyone wants to be a brand ambassador, and for me that's okay. I respect when someone refuses or prefer to stay in the background or contribute in a smaller way. Employer branding should never feel like a pressure campaign. The relationship for me doesn't end once the story is published. I checked on employees. I say thank you. I ask how they felt within the process of creating it, and if they have had a great experience, they often come back and we do something more in the future. And I don't treat it as a one-time transaction, rather the long-term relationships, because we all are in the same company and will be there after this one story. I believe that the key is offering options. Instead of pushing one approach, we should adapt to employees' comfort level. Some prefer small contributions, like a quote instead of full interview. The more we adapt, the more engagement we'll get. Some employees would like to record video, but only for internal usage. So I try to create this opportunity for them. Company values matter, but alignment shouldn't mean scripting. Let's find the overlapping area between the employees genuinely, what employees genuinely want to say, and the themes that fit our employer brand strategies. If we reshape someone's words too much, we risk losing their authenticity. Instead, we should help employees express their story in a way that naturally aligns with their company culture. It's important to focus on the individual level. Usually, someone recommends you to contact a specific employees for the story. Before reaching out, ask recommending person about their preferences, how they like to interact, what format they might be comfortable with. And on daily basis, we often, as a EB professionals, cooperate with recruiters, hiring manager, HR business partners, and they know employees very well. So it's also worth asking them about insights. This will help tailoring our approach from the very first conversation with potential employee who wants to collaborate with us. In smaller companies, you may know most of your colleagues, but in organization with like dozens, hundreds, or even thousands employees, especially in a remote or like multi-location companies, you won't always know who you are working with. So taking this little time to learn about them will just benefit you. And finding the right employees to share stories isn't just about picking someone randomly. I think that the best place to start is recommendations. Leaders, managers, even peers often know who in their team is vocal, engaged, or just naturally loves to share. Ask them, who do you think would be comfortable talking about their work? Or tie it to your search, your choosing to business goals. If there is an open recruitment process, highlight someone in similar role. If a big project just launched, talk to those leading the change. Use this momentum which they are in actually. And another great place is LinkedIn. See who is posting, engaging in like side gigs, like podcasts, trainings, mentoring, even some gigs that aren't connected specifically to their work to our company. These employees already have a voice. They might just need the invitation to share it internally. And if you work remotely, use on-site events to network, gather names, ask for intros, and if possible, set up an intro call while people are still in the event mindset, so like very fresh after it. And finally, I really believe that timing matters. If the company is in the middle of major transition, a deadline, or tough periods that happens right now in generally on the labor market, pause your work and focus on other activities within your role. If someone refuses, don't push, ask when would be a better time or just resign. Employer branding isn't about relationship, employer branding is about relationships, so we need to build them right from the start. Of course, individual differences and personalities are very important, but also cultural differences. In a global company, the way employees engage with storytelling depends a lot on the culture norms they're used to. So some cultures are naturally more private, while others embrace public recognitions and personal storytelling. If we apply the same approach everywhere, we risk either forcing people out of their comfort zone or missing opportunities to engage them in the right way. So we need to be aware, flexible, and adaptable. What works in one country or department might not work in another. And moreover, we need to be self-aware. We too come from specific culture, and how we interact, how we ask people talk to them might be impacted by our origin too. So let's look at a few general patterns, not as stereotypes, but tendencies we've seen when engaging employees in different regions. For example, employees in many European countries tend to be more private or less willing to talk about their achievements. They might prefer team-based recognition rather than personal storytelling. Public storytelling may feel a bit uncomfortable unless positioned as a broader topic, like innovation or collaboration. And in US and Canada, there's a strong culture of personal storytelling. People are often comfortable sharing achievements, career journeys, or lessons learned. They may even expect more individual branding within employer branding. And in many Asian cultures, storytelling is often structured. Employees might prefer a manager approval before participating. Recognition is often more collective rather than individual. So employer branding campaigns in these regions might work better when framed around teams or company-wide contributions. So these are just general trends, but the key is always to ask, observe, and adapt. If you work in a global company, it's worth testing different approaches and seeing how different teams prefer to engage. And I talk a lot about getting employees to participate in storytelling, but the reality is not everyone wants to engage in the same way as I mentioned while talking about formats. If we limit our approach to just one format, we're automatically excluding people who might have great stories to tell. Think about it in this way. If you create content for a specific audience, wouldn't you ask them first what format they prefer? A sales leader might love short video. An engineer maybe not. They might prefer a structured Q&A or even a written blog where they can fine-tune their words. But let's be honest, sometimes we don't have the time, budgets, and resources to offer 5 different formats to every story. And that's okay. If you find yourself always defaulting to video or written interviews, it's also okay, as long as you make the process comfortable and engaging for employees. The key is to make an effort to adapt where possible. Even small adjustments, like letting someone review their answers before publishing or turning a video conversation into an article, can make a big difference. So next time when you work on an employer brand initiatives, you may try this. Before you decide the format, ask people how they would like to be presented. If you have options, offer them. If you don't, focus on making the chosen format feeling as natural and flexible as possible. So this is a critical part of storytelling, psychological safety. If employees don't feel safe, they won't share honestly. If they feel somehow pressured, they'll say what they think we want to hear instead of what's real. Safe space means for me no pressure to participate, no forced sharing, and always giving them options to say no. It means leading with respect and openness, letting employees control their own narrative, not us controlling it for them. And safe spaces and trust are inseparable duo. And trust isn't instant, it's built over time. One of the simplest way to build trust is through visibility and consistency. Employees are more likely to share with someone they recognize, not just as the person who asked for the stories, but as a part of an organization. If they see you engaging, joining discussions on Slack or Teams, or supporting initiatives, it feels less as an external request and more like an internal collaboration. I, for example, try to take part in initiatives of other departments whenever possible, testing some tools, answering a survey. And it's worth to say that trust also means doing what you say you will. If you promise to let them review the final piece before it goes live, make sure they get that chance. If you commit to highlight a certain part of their stories, follow through. And if something changes, tell them. Breaking trust doesn't make much. One missed follow-up, one change without informing them. And on the contrary, building trust that happens through small, repeated moments of honesty and reliability. And when employees trust us, they engage more openly, share more authentically, and just becoming true partners. Coming to quite a difficult area when it comes to effectiveness measuring. Here, I believe measuring effectiveness in our field, especially when it comes to storytelling, isn't just about numbers. It's about understanding impact. I view as a common mistake focusing only on vanity metrics like views and clicks. But the real question is here, how are people engaging? Are employees reacting to content, resharing it, or starting conversation around it, internally, externally? One strong indicator of success is employee participation over time. If more people feel comfortable sharing their stories, it means trust is growing. And trust is the foundation of authentic employer branding. My personal success metric was when people started to encounter me personally and ask how they can participate in the interviews without me asking them. So another important factor is also longevity. Do the stories we create stay relevant? If a piece of content is still valuable months later, it's a sign of strong employer brand consistency. If you haven't measured impact before, or you didn't have clear target sets, create a test period, month, 2, 3, a fair phase where you set, track, and refine what works. And don't rush into high targets. Start with realistic benchmark and build from there. It's better not to overpromise something you cannot deliver. And it's important to acknowledge that employer branding doesn't happen in isolation. Someone needs to be the bridge between employees, their stories, and the company identity. And that's us, employer brand professionals. We constantly are moving between teams, leaders, and employees, making connections, understanding perspectives, and ensuring that what we share externally reflects what's happening internally. And we don't always get it right. We enter a company with ideas, and then reality hits, and we adjust. Authenticity isn't just for employees. It's also for us, employer brand professionals. We grow into this role just like employees grow into their stories. No employer brand strategy is perfect from the start. It evolves with the people we work with. So if you'd like to check actionable ideas from this session, scan this QR code for full list. I'd like to thank you very much. It was a huge pleasure to share these thoughts and experiences with you today.
Thank you, Katarzyna. Can you still share your screen that people have possibility to screen
Yeah,
to get more materials? And thank you for the
sorry.
sharing your knowledge. Let it stay like for 2 minutes that they have possibility to scan.
Of course.
And let's now to join our question and answer. And I will go to our chat to ask the questions what we already have. And if some of you have other questions, please be free to write your questions. So let's start with the question. Flavia, I'm sorry, we hear some noises, so it will be good if you turn on the sound when you answer. And the first question is how do you motivate employees to become ambassadors, and do you incentive programs for them? Flavia, I think it's for you question. How do you motivate? How you find these 150 people to be ambassador? Do you need
So
time?
yeah, here I am. No,
Oh,
I
yes, we
just
hear
moved
you
into a
good.
quiet room because I'm in the open space. I'm in the office. Can you please help me out with saying that again?
Yes,
How do you
sure.
motivate
So
people?
the question, how do you motivate employees to become ambassadors? So how you find these 150 people who now is ambassadors in Bosch?
Mm-hmm. Well, just wanted to clarify the topic that we have started in 2020. So this community grew, definitely. We were not 150 in the beginning. We were around 15 or 20 when we have started. And as I pointed out, we started with the recruitment team and also with the leaders. And we moved on from there. But nevertheless, the rewards that we are offering are the quarterly one. So we reward the active ambassadors, the one that have a strong voice, that are constantly posting, or if not necessarily constantly, if they have the largest number of engagement of metrics. And we also offer something when they join the program. But this onboarding kit, we started using it only last year. And last year, the community already had around 90 people. So I would not say that the people joined only for the goodies or only for the giveaways that we are offering. They have joined because we have a lot of colleagues that are happy in the company and that they feel this sense of pride and belonging, and they want to share it with the world. And what we have observed during the years is that they just don't know how to do it on their own. It's not that they don't want to do it, but not everyone is a communication specialist, or not everyone is a public speaker, or you know that communication does not come that easy. So yeah, if people are being offered the platform, if they're being offered the hand, and if they feel good in the company and they feel that they have something to do, somehow everything clicks and connects and it happens. So yeah, I would say that it's important how the company is treating the people overall and how engaged they feel inside the company. And definitely those incentives or those rewards are helping, but I would not say that this is everything.
Thank you, Flavia. From my part of view, I also can
Thank
add about engaging employees like ambassador. It's open communication, explanation of the role of ambassador. So in the Mondelez, they communicate in an email for all employees, but they explain what is the role, because sometimes people don't know who is ambassador, what they will do, why it's needed, and also explain how this program will help to overall goals of the company. Katarzyna, anything to add from your part? How you find ambassadors for some interview, for some publication?
Yes, so we don't have the structured program, of course, but I really focus on recommendations. I see that if leader recommends employee, like immediate manager or even someone higher, they tend to agree because they see that someone, and there is also always specific reason why they were recommended. So they see the context and they see the value for them and for the company, of course.
Thank you. The second question is a question to Flavia project. How did you evaluate the efficiency of social media platform in connection to your project goals, and what metrics did you use?
Well, I want to be very honest and transparent. The metrics are a real problem. And if you do not have a platform that it's managing everything at once, it's pretty difficult to have the possibility to do it on your own. So what we are measuring is obviously the, like Katarzyna said, how did you call those data? Vanity? It was
Vanity
not
metrics.
vanity.
Vanity
Vanity, yeah.
metrics.
So I really like that one, and I will keep it in mind. So we measure the vanity metrics, definitely. Those are the ones at hand. We also look at the growth of the community, and it's very manual. So we are doing a manual work. That's why I said in the presentation, during the presentation, that we are looking for an app, because I feel that we have reached some limitations, and those limitations are because of the platform, of the current platforms that we are using. um, Maybe I just couldn't figure it out on my own, but nevertheless, the thing is that without this platform, we don't see the possibility to grow further, because for the community manager, it's becoming very difficult to be able to curate all the current ambassadors that we're having. So we definitely prepare the content, we post it on Teams, everyone is using it, but it's becoming more and more difficult for the community manager to engage with people, because a lot of the ambassadors are coming for support. So this platform would ease everything up, because the process will be very streamlined, but nevertheless, in terms of metrics, you will be also able to understand with some clicks how your ambassadors are performing. So yeah, honestly, we don't have a very structured measurement system, and we are looking at the vanity metrics and the growth of the community itself. And also we take feedback from the colleagues. We see that they are engaged. We see that they are getting more traction on some of the topics. And also it's very important, because as a company, you cannot necessarily communicate everything that you would like. So on your official channels. So we engage our ambassadors to communicate further what's happening in the organization, but it's not the type of content that we would use on the official channels.
Thank you, Flavia. I would add also to the question about KPI that if you don't have any platform, you also can build it like a spreadsheet with some target goals. It's why when I start my presentation, I talk about the goals. So it's based on your goal, what you put for your company, like what you want to see from this ambassador program. And KPIs, it can be for sure the numbers of ambassadors. It can be how many people they refer to you for some position, if you have a referral program. If they involved in social media, it can be numbers of posts. It can be also engagement rates, how many likes and sharing for this post. It's numbers of interview, if people involved to find some people in their department for interviews. And it's also the numbers of some events where they participate, for example, some career events. And I want to show you example. We organized also ambassador program, but external for the students for one bank. And we made competition between the ambassadors. So we share the KPI, and then every month we see who gets the more application, they more participate and more post on social media, and then they get the points. So they get the points, and at the end of 1 year program, they able to get the prize from the company. And in this case, it was the prize the trip, the small trip for 3 days for this ambassador. So you can also create competition in this way, create engagement. Anything to add, Katarzyna, from your part?
I would like to say that Flavia's awesome program, I think this is the perfect place to use this, let's call them these vanity metrics, because you have great foundation and actually context. So many that it looks almost like you have brand within the Bosch brand. So I would say that what I was talking about, the more like engaging, looking at how many employees is for the starters, where you don't have this basis, when you don't have this nice structured initiative. So maybe this comment.
The next questions I can combine because we have some questions the same. One question that when it comes to external social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, how do you measure efficiency of platforms? And this the same we have what the tools you use for analytics platform for influencers. So for Flavia, Katarzyna, do you use any metrics, any tools to measure activity in social media?
So basic LinkedIn metrics insights. Of course, like the same for Meta channels, they have this. For me, I mostly focus on Google Analytics regarding career site and blog area. So those external tools that supports and show you the most important for me would be how long people are spending reading the article, for example. So if they stay just look and go, or they stay and read. So I would talk about those and would think about them when starting social media, using basic what this tool offer, not to use extra money maybe for something more sophisticated.
For my part, I will add that we also analyze in LinkedIn. You have a lot of analytics, and the same in Instagram. You have analytics, and of course, like engagement rate of the posts, and it's show to us results and also numbers of followers. If it's grow, we also look on it, and we like a tool what I can recommend, let's write to everyone. The tool Hotsuite, it's you need to pay for this, but it's help to see automatic if someone make a publication about you, about your company, and also you can plan your posts in social media for your company. So this is one of the examples, but there's a lot of different tools who help also to make analytics and to make automatization. I see that we're almost at the end, so we have 5 minutes. Flavia, anything to add to this question? And then one more question I will ask.
Yes, I just wanted to add the fact that on top of what you ladies pointed out, which is LinkedIn and Google Analytics, we have developed an internal platform, and we have a Power BI. So it's basically a Power BI because in Bosch, there are some limitations with the integration of external tools. For example, we cannot necessarily integrate Hootsuite or HubSpot or stuff like that in order to manage our social media accounts. So what we are doing with this Power BI, we are uploading manually information from social media, and we are doing this analysis based on the pillars of our EVP, because we want to know and to understand how our audience is resonating with the content that we publish related to the grow, enjoy, inspire pillars, and we want to understand which are the topics that the audience resonate most with. And also, whenever we are doing the communication campaigns, employer branding communication campaigns, we are looking at these stats in order to understand what type of content should we develop more, and what is going well, what is going not so well, and where we should do some improvements aligned with the strategy and the EVP.
Thank you. Thank you,
That
Flavia.
was from my side.
So one of our participants asked recommendations from our speakers. In a company that is coming out of a corporate reorganization, including staff cuts, how is possible to find motivated internal ambassadors? And above all, how is possible to find topics to share at an uncertain and delicate period? So let's give some recommendation to our participant. Katarzyna?
So I would focus on internal communication, not external in this moment. And I would start for giving something from us. So create training, create some kind of presentations, maybe short videos, maybe some initiative that will talk about resilience, grit, team building. So switching from collecting something to sharing something. And with this, we have to help and support rebuild the community, because if company went through changes, people won't like to participate. I don't believe they would like to participate right now and talk how company is good when there was something internally going on. So supporting leadership and employees in rebuilding what was maybe a little bit refractured.
Mm-hmm. Well,
thank you, Flavia.
Yeah, just to add something, I do believe that from time to time, companies are going through crisis. And when this happens, I do believe that we need to look at the leadership. So what I would do in this crisis context, I would approach the leadership team, and I would transform some of the leaders into the brand ambassadors. Because if the company has strong leaders that you can use as promoters, as influencers, definitely the people are going to feel encouraged. And this is going to be very beneficial internally on one hand, because the employees will see that the leader is saying this out loud, is very courageous and is talking about what's happening. And also externally, because the audience is going to see that you're, as a company, you're not afraid to speak up and to tell the truth. I mean, times are hard. We just need to find a good way on how to communicate this. So yeah, definitely I would use the leaders as influencers. And also, no matter how bad it is, you always find the people that like it being there, and that they feel connected and engaged, and they are the one that they're either driving the transformation or shaping things or having the vision for the future. So I think that in this period you need to go to the key players and not target everyone. So be realistic with your objectives and go and approach the ones that can be approachable and can make a difference. So yeah, I would just adjust my objectives in this period of a crisis in the company, and I would look at it from a strategical perspective and try to understand what the company wants, what the company needs, and find those key players that are the strong voices that can support those objectives.
I want to support Flavia now with her opinion. We have one client in the Netherlands that goes through the reorganization too, and we select the top managers and managers from different departments who can participate and organize also internally town hall with people, who can be on newsletters. So to be the speaker about challenges, about to be also open to answer. So you can create some space or some CEO box or box to leadership team that everyone can send any question in this hard period, but also post on social media. You can encourage your leadership team to post about your company, about mission, vision, about changing in a company. So I want to support Flavia with her opinion about top management, and Katarzyna about concentration on internal communication. And the last question for today, because we are out of the time, the question: what is the golden standard in frequency of the meetings and gathering with the ambassadors? So how often we need to meet with ambassadors? Flavia, how it's in the Bosch?
Well, our target is to have a quarterly brunch or lunch or something that ends up with something to eat. So where the community connects and exchanges ideas, and we have an external speaker. So it's something very dedicated, but nevertheless, we have this community manager that is doing an amazing job, and the community manager, it's going for coffees and informal chats with the members of the communities, or they have lunches together. So that's why I pointed out at the end of my presentation that the community manager is essential if you want a program to grow and become a very good asset in your organization. So yeah, the standard once per quarter in a formal way, and as much as the time allows, in a more informal way.
Thank you, Flavia. From my point of view, I will add that in Mondelez, we make once in a month meeting all together. But I want also to say that it's also important whenever if you choose quarterly, monthly meeting, every week, also to communicate between, to create this communication with sharing knowledge, with that they can ask the questions and you can support them. And how often the meetings you can decide by yourself is how often your HR team can participate and make this meeting. But I can say not that's for sure once in the quarter you need to meet. If you can meet often once in a month, will be great. Katarzyna, anything to add?
So I don't meet with ambassadors, of course, but in my case, it would be somehow the number of people I meet with. So how many interviews, how many stories we might publish. I would say adjust really to set of your task you have, because if you will say that you will have once a week, you might not have enough time and not enough time on the side of the employees to create these stories. So I would adjust realistically and keep it and try to maybe evolve and do more often. For me, it would be, for example, twice a month, because I have different, like for the big interview, because I have other set of tasks, which I, of course, have to do daily.
Thank you, Katarzyna. Thank you, Flavia. So it was the last question for today. And before we finish, first of all, I want to say to our speakers that you take time today to present and to share your knowledge and to share your real case. I want to also say thank you to participants that you ask the questions. I see that some of you want to start ambassador programs because it's dedicated question to your company, and we will share with all participants at the end, also to everyone who registered recording of today webinar, so you can share with your colleagues. We also can review again presentation and review again recording when you will start your ambassador program. And of course, if you will have any questions, as I mentioned, on a beginner, you can book online free consultation with me or with my colleagues from the agency. And we will glad to see you in our employer brand voice community in LinkedIn. So in our email, we will share with you again the link. So, and we will glad to see you on the next our event. Thank you that you join us today, and I hope that, to wish that your ambassador program, if you have already, will be successful and you get your KPIs, and if you just start, that you get motivation and can start to discuss with your HR team for next your project. Thank you for the join today, and thank you, Katarzyna and Flavia, for your time and for your knowledge that you share. Have a nice day, everyone.
You too. Thank you for the invitation. Goodbye, everyone.